Hello, everyone. Today, we will be talking about SQL injection vulnerabilities and attacks in the Power Platform environment, where citizen developers can expose critical enterprise data to external attackers through what they perceive to be an internal automation. Now, let's take this form as an example. I created this form in order to collect customer complaints. And in order to automate the processing of complaints, what I did is I created a Power Automate flow that takes the user input, takes the complaint, and then searches for complaint history of that person in our database, just in order to be able to send them a quick feedback saying, hey, Mr. Customer, we received your complaint. We keep track of your complaint history, and we are handling it. Let's see what happens when someone comes in and just files a complaint through this form. We see the name of the person, we see an email address, and we see a short complaint text. Now, once the text is ready, our customer submits the form, and in a second, we will be able to take a look into the feedback message that was sent back to the person with their complaint history. It's all very nice, but let's now take a look at what happens when an attacker comes in. Instead of simple username, that attacker is now inserting specially crafted input into the username field. That input looks very much like good old SQL injection vectors. Now, when the person submits the complaint, we'll go to their personal mailbox, and we can see that instead of the complaint history that was shown earlier, we see a list of users and their salaries taken from the database. Why is this happening? Let's take a look under the hood. Here is the flow that I used to automate the processing of complaints. It starts by looking into the latest response to the Microsoft form, and then I'm searching the database for complaint history. Now, if we dig into the database access activity, we will see that I created an SQL query and pasted raw user input into it with no validation and no sanitization, which is the safest way to create SQL injection vulnerability, which is then quickly exploited by attackers. Now, we're asking ourselves the questions, can that be fixed? Can I avoid SQL injection in an easy way in this environment? And the answer is a clear yes. If you take a look at the database access activity in Power Automate, you will see that you can use parameterized queries. In a parameterized query, you first put a placeholder for the user input in the form of a parameter name. And then in the table below that, you define the parameter and then its value taken from the user input. Once you create your database access in this way, you are safe and immune against SQL injection attacks. So what we have seen is that I created an internal automation that actually created an external attack surface and exposed critical internal data assets. Now, Microsoft Forms is just one example of how a Power Automate flow becomes an external attack surface. Other examples could be emails that are used to trigger the flow, social media posts, customer provided content like, ERP tickets and stuff like that. So while we think of these platforms as internal automations, we need to bear in mind that they connect external attackers to critical enterprise data. If you want to learn more about remediation, or if you want to see more attacks and vulnerabilities in citizen developer environments, please visit our website or ask us for a demo of our Power Platform security solution.